Game number 6. Hello guys and welcome to TFT NA Regional Finals. Set 10, last day.
Needs to get that top 5 and finally get that monkey off of his back. So item payout, Wandering Trainers to end the day would be obscene, and Golden Symphony will be the third choice. But where are we going? Wandering Trainers. Wandering Trainers would be hype. Everyone manifest. We're manifesting. Let's go. No!
Come on, item payout.
Replay. It's like you need a first or something. I know.
Okay. All right, item payout it is. All right, that's fine. Item payout. Okay. All right.
We've gotten it a couple times. So anything that turns items is going to be a really good augment, or ability like Spoils of War would be good. Heartsteel would benefit from stuff like that too, based on what your cash outs are. So now looking at this first go-around, we already have a Heartsteel unit in this Aphelios, and replay pretty much, I think, all of the players that have to win can't play reroll is kind of how the weekend's gone.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, right? Because, like, the reroll comps definitely are not doing as well. The one exception, and we covered it, is Riven, right? That's the one you kind of got to look at, is like, this is another way that you can play for that top one from reroll. And the other one that I would consider is Submit to the Pit. Even though that's mostly capped out at second, I do still think that that board is strong enough to find that win.
Yeah, we have seen some Sennas and Seraphines win, but again, it's like, it's pretty unlikely because you have to hit it really fast, then get to 9 or sometimes even 10. We saw, I think it was Rain win a game with a level 10 Kale reroll game earlier in the weekend. So there definitely are possibilities, but the tough thing is, you kind of have to play what you're given a lot of times in TFT. So you can try to force towards these higher cap comps, but in a lot of scenarios, it's going to end up just kind of hurting you. If you're over forcing, if you don't have the items for it, it's not really going to be a viable line.
All right, let's go ahead and see where these items will land. I'm sure Dish Soap would love to never see a large rod again as we get to these augments too. Blinged out.
These are all
gives us
interesting
an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Not Today can be pretty powerful for melee reroll. He does have like potentially a QSS on bench. Blinged Out can be pretty strong if you want to play towards center reroll, which is what I'm expecting him to grab. Does have some reasonable items for that as well. So there's the Blinged Out. So he's going to be going towards it. We'll see if anyone is going to be contesting whatsoever, or if he is going to have kind of that open path towards it.
I actually really like the Senna. I like the Senna a lot from replay because of the fact that we actually, looking at the AVP, he's still he's the number 1 below all the people who are the top 3 in the standings. And so just getting a really good result on the Senna here, top 3, top 2, could potentially be enough. We don't know all the numbers right now. We're trying to get that all figured out, but I think just playing for this highest placement possible for replay is probably still the best goal, and Blinged Out is a really solid way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Malala also is in an incredible spot, right? Malala, if we are doing our own napkin math correct, basically could only miss out on like an 8th, right? Like, so Malala is in such a good spot now with a significant points lead. Is going to go Stars Are Born, which is going to get you this stronger board online very, very quickly. You're going to play very likely towards a 2-cost reroll, and you're going to have a much higher chance of hitting that early. And if you can get that kind of a board online, you're in such a good spot because he already has 2 Kales that he got from the early orbs. He's going to get a Kale 2 from a shop, and then you just need a headliner and 1 more, and you're at Kale 3, right? Yeah. And then from there, I basically don't even care what else you hit. You're going to be able to be in a position where you're not going to go last.
Yeah, we've seen this Kale 3, I mean, even threaten to win repeatedly, right? And so usually it comes off the back of the Mordekaiser 3, but if you start out the game with Kale 3, you can either play for Mordekaiser 3 or just play for Legendary Cap Out, right? So there's plenty of ways for Malala to go. I really love his spot.
And you can even see, like, he slammed Sunfire. I think, again, just keep the health high. Just try to play for these early round wins. And I think it's really smart given the position that he's in.
I completely agree with you. There's no reason, we saw someone do it with Weird in the last game yesterday, in the first game today, where maybe we're taking too many risks. I think this is what we were kind of talking about of, play what you need to do. Yes, we're probably going to lose this round specifically, but if we get Kale 3, we're not getting 8th, like you said, Azale. That pretty much locks it in for Malala. It's all about just making sure you don't just like super low roll, never see another Kale, even with the Stars Born. That's the only way I think that could potentially take him out. But Malala, if you're Malala fan, you're probably feeling awesome right now.
And you can see he even he used his Stars Are Born on a 1 cost and then sold it to make eco on that previous round. So wanted to hit the eco benchmark, was able to do that. So he's just holding on to that second Stars Are Born upgrade, which is going to be for a 2-cost unit. Of course, that is going to be reserved for his Kale. He doesn't have the best components to start, so it's not that big of a deal if he's losing out some early to be able to try to get a better spot on the carousel. He has the BF for Gunblade, then you need to obviously pick up the components for another Rage Blade, and then your last one will come from the super fans.
Yeah, I mean, just needing 1 rod, 1 bow, it's really, or 2 rods, 1 bow, it's really not that bad of a spot to be in, right? Exactly. And as you were saying, he'd probably lose a couple of rounds here since he's just ecoing and not leveling up, and have a mid pick, but realistically, the components he's trying to grab, he shouldn't have too much trouble, especially if he's uncontested in the Kale line. As we take a look at Dish Soap, who has been able to keep a win streak once again. He's actually done a really good job today of pretty consistently finding these win streak angles.
And I think one of the things that's always really impressed me about Dish Soap is he doesn't just seem to be one of these players that kind of just follows the agreed upon meta, right? You know, even on some of these early headliners, there's a lot of people that are like, okay, you grab Vi, or you grab, you know, Olaf, or you grab one of these couple, you know, 1-cost headliners. Otherwise, you just don't play the stage and you kind of lose streak, or you kind of accept that fact. But he's actually put together some really interesting boards a number of times with like Headliner Tarics and things like this. Even not even playing the disco line, just like Headliner and Guardian Taric with rapid fire backline and things like that, that are actually beating out a lot of these kind of more prevalent headliners that people are going for. And here again, he was playing for that quirky headliner, which has really kind of fallen from grace, I feel like, over these last couple of patches. So it's always just fun to see players really evaluating board strength very, very well and finding ways to win.
Yeah, you know, sometimes I think people interpret TFT as almost like a color by number situation, but, you know, someone like Dish Soap creates more numbers, right? Is able to get more colors onto the page, right? So we'll see if that's going to be the case. A good top 4 there should be good enough for Dish Soap as well. Looking at this backline now, we've got that Jinx with some good AD items. Of course, that's probably going to be moving on to someone else here soon, but should be good enough for now. We won that last round, we split, and then we lost the first 2. So, I mean, this is pretty much par for the course for the majority of people in an early game.
Yeah, but I mean, Degree's board is actually crazy. I feel like he should be able to keep a win streak the rest of this stage. I'm curious, something like Rain's board as well, because Dish's board honestly doesn't seem like that scary to keep a 100 streak all the way to Krugs. And I'm curious if we end up seeing just Rain keep it, or yeah, there, Dish actually. It looks like just, oh, okay. There was an X there for a second, but never mind. Dish able to hold on. I'll just wait and see where that ends up. Rain ends up taking a loss. So Dish up the only one 100 streaking.
Yeah, that's actually really, really big for him. Replay, you know, building up a streak now. Degree potentially building up a streak. You can also see Malala did get a bow, and I think it was even a 2 or 3-cost bow off of the carousel. So he has half of his Rage Blade, half of his Gun Blade. So, you know, still waiting to actually natural into that Kale that he's going to use the Stars Are Born on, but keeping his health, you know, relatively high, so not going to be stressing about it too badly just yet. Precedent looking like he's on a full loss streak and just, you know, trying to see what he can scrap together.
Yeah, would love to try to increase his possibility for that prize pool as well, you know, as just really showing up. You want to take a good victory out of this and have a couple good lobbies as you leave it. But honestly, it's pretty awesome that he made it to the final 8. The people that he beat to get here are also some of the best players in the world, and I still think Precedent can be considered one of the best. But now it's going to be Dish Soap once more, and I'm really interested to see where this goes for the sole basis of what Azael said earlier. It's just like, we never know with Dish Soap. This could literally be something to other comps by the time we see it again.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that, you know, when we were looking at like, oh, how strong is his board, you also have to take into consideration how strong are these items, right? Because Locket is actually super high value, especially in the early game. He's getting Locket on 4 units, and he has a Sunfire. So that alone is just giving his front line so much tankiness, and then paired with the Headliner Corki with a decent item on it, he's in a pretty good spot, you know, and is going to be able to actually maintain that 5 streak all the way to Krugs. Going to be feeling really good about his spot. I do feel like he's very, very good at crafting these strong boards as he pushes levels. Dish Soap, I think, you know, really he is kind of known as more of that like 4-cost flex type player. He loves to push levels. He loves to be able to actually pivot around, you know, what units are going to make the strongest possible boards. And as a result, he tends to play less reroll. But, you know, he definitely can do that too.
All right,
these are
no
not great
rod
components
here.
from Malala. And double BF, which
tough.
he doesn't really want.
All right, so
There's the Kale, though.
Oh,
Finally comes through.
Yeah, we
So
get
now,
the
I mean, he
Kale.
could push on 3-2 and just find Kale 3 pretty easily. I think is going to be the big look for Malala. One more round of loss, just get a massive amount of gold, and then just full send.
All right, let's see. Is Malala going to be able to get this KL3 locked in a pretty easy amount of time? It looks like that is going to be the case. We've still got to land it. That, Tarek in the front line is doing a pretty good job in terms of at least not making sure that we're losing by a ton every single round.
Wow, he slammed GS, which actually shocks me because now he doesn't have a component for a Rage Blade. So I guess he's just going to try to play Rage Blade, Gunblade, GS. And just use only that one Rage Blade from Superfans. It is the portal where you are getting gold for actually slamming items, so there's something to be said for that. But still pretty surprising because I do feel like people really heavily prioritize playing around the Absolute Bis for Kale, and Double Rage Blade is generally considered that. So it is a bit surprising to me, but maybe feels like, hey, because of his position with points, he shouldn't greed, right? Like he should just slam items. He should just play for what is going to be strongest now. And I'm expecting him to roll down pretty heavily here and try to hit that KL3 and then just stabilize.
Yeah, he was also above 50 gold, right? So there's there's not much reason to make the gold. It's more just about board power. But we do see here, gonna sell the headliner. You're gonna head down. We've got the
now just needs
there's
headliner.
the Kale, just need the headliner.
We'll see. How far is he going to go? That's the question, right? How far do you send it? Because
you could just dig all the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary, right? Like if you send it to 0 and you don't hit, you can actually be in an absolutely horrible spot. So a lot of players that I see will stop around 30. This is getting a bit rough.
Okay, not finding it.
Oh god,
all the way down
to 0. Yeah. And he still doesn't even have the components for it. And he didn't find a Nico either. So he doesn't even, I guess he has Superfan without Nico. He doesn't need it for now, but yikes. That was a rough roll down.
This is a huge whip. I mean, this is massive. This is actually the nightmare scenario where Malala can go 8th or 7th and not have control of his own destiny. 6+ puts him pretty much locked. But at 7th or an 8th, there are worlds where he ends up losing his spot.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, obviously really wanted to hit the kill 3 on that turn, but there is a high risk, to where you actually roll to true 0 because then you're not making any economy. You don't have a lot of space to actually roll down each turn. From this point, though, you just have to send it basically every single turn and try to see if you can hit it. We'll see if he's going to be able to do it. He's going to sell the Lulu off. He's going to sell off some of those frontliners. And now he's trying to decide, like, do I actually go below 10? Do I try to make some interest here? This is going to be getting pretty stressful for Malala, and he's just going to play that Senna headliner for now. So that is going to be the option for him, and he's going to try to stabilize and eco back up. But again, because he went to actually 0, didn't stop at 30 or something like that, it's going to be a while before he actually is able to really rebuild that economy, if he's able to do so at all.
Okay, so at least we have a little bit of, power on this board to try to at least take some of these rounds away, because any round win at this point in time is just another opportunity to have an extra round a little bit later. When you're just avoiding 7th and 8th, I think that's a pretty big deal. So every round from here on out, even just a little bit of a victory, I think is gonna be beneficial, but we're still, in a precarious situation.
All right, next up, the carousel. We'll see what people can grab here. I know Malala's still looking for, a rod, I believe, would be the last thing that he needs to get the gunblade at least.
Okay, get it.
Nope, he's second pick, so does not get it at all. Gets denied by Pressed Event. Well, just gonna grab frontline items. It makes sense. Just itemize the Mordekaiser. You'll get it eventually. At least, you would hope so, but trying to set up for a solid foundation as well. As we take a look at the augments that have been picked up here, we have 2 last stands in the lobby. That's certainly going to be something to watch out for, especially because these placements, every placement so impactful on this, right? A lot of the scenarios involve, oh, you need this person to go X placement, well, you go this. And last stand starts to throw a lot of wrenches into those plans.
It really does, right? And for Malala, you have to look at who's below you. You have a Heartsteel cash out player who just got an Ezreal, I think, off carousel and is playing last stand with really good items. So good luck outcapping that. And then Pressed Event is the only other board that I'm not really sure what he's actually playing and is quite low HP. But Malala is in just such a different spot than last game, because last game Malala was rolling for the kills at 7. It had so many copies of the Mordekaiser because of that. This game, only 1 copy of the Mordekaiser, still doesn't have that correct headliner. So it's just such a tougher spot, and there's actually a lot of Heartsteel players in this one. Degree as well, playing some Heartsteel now, trying to get those extra components, trying to get those extra items.
Yeah, I mean, look at all these kind of weaker boards. And Digital playing from tempo is on an 8 win streak currently, and Dish Soap, another player, he kind of just needs that top 4 to lock in that top 3 spot of this tournament to get his first time ever going to the World Championship. And this is the kind of start that you want. Now, there are some worries, right? Because a lot of people are playing weaker boards, econing, playing Lose Streak, playing Heartsteel. And so they can start to cap really high. But by keeping it 100 HP this long, if he can keep it through another creep stage, there's so much extra gold. It's so much hell. It is such a good position to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, and he is really strong, I think, at playing, from a powerful position like that. I'll be interested to see where he actually wants to go, if he's going to just try to, stabilize with some sort of like pentakill style board at 8, or if, he's going to try to really push levels. But he's definitely looking good. Has pretty flexible items as well. Blue buff, as well as the Hodge and the Gunblade are the items that he slammed.
All right, let's see how good the Senna is right now. Against this comp, it should be just fine. That should be an easy win for Dish Soap. And, just like I was saying about Malala, the fact that we have that 100 HP to go through is a really, really big deal. I mean, how many times have we seen someone with 100 HP make it to stage 5, lose every single round, and then end up in 3rd or 4th, right? That's all Dish Soap needs to qualify, and we're still going to be winning out. So every round that we have that we win is going to give us an extra bit of cushion a little bit later as we enter Wolves.
I will say for Malala, at least the Seraphine, or excuse me, the Senna that he picked up instead of the Kale did stabilize him. He won 3 rounds after actually buying that Senna, so he's back to 45 gold. He'll be able to roll down again on 4-1, and so that's where Malala is really going to want to hit, and hopefully for him, we'll be able to do so because he did stabilize the economy. Kyun has 70 gold, so in a spot that he could, be making some major moves as well. And we can see Malala should have sold the headliner, I'm assuming, already on this stage, and now is going to be looking to roll.
Here's that roll once again.
Kale. He's
and
not
that's
going to pick
a
up
good
the
solid
individual.
TFT. We always attribute it to players like Dish Soap, right? Just playing around something, renting a unit. Instead, we're going to have Malala rolling it down once again, missing again. This is so much gold. Roll for this
There
Kale,
it
it
is.
finally is. After
My
all this
goodness.
time and so much gold dumped into this, the head start that he bought with Stars Are Born is just gone at this point. He's had to roll so much gold to actually find that last copy of Kale.
Oh man, that Kale finally coming back from getting that milk and cigarettes a couple years ago, right? Unfortunately, that's really what it feels like for Malala. But, this was really good. The fact that he even had 68 gold to run with at that point in time is a pretty big play for Malala.
I will say, it's also super depressing that he never found a rod. He still has not gotten a single rod this game. So he had to slam the GS because he didn't have the ideal components for a Rage Blade. He's sat on the extra BF sword this whole time, never got a rod from PvE phase or from Carousel, so he doesn't even have the Gunblade. And it's not like you want to slam Red Buff or something like that on Kale. Like, you need some items that are going to help you. And over here, you can see Dish Soap finally takes a loss there as Rain is able to take a win over him. Rain sitting on what looks like Riven items, but did have them on that Yone headliner for now. But with the QSS, you are assuming it is going to be that Riven that she is going to be playing towards.
All right, back over to Degree. Right, Last Stand. Yeah, I'm really, really intrigued how these Last Stand players are. Traditionally, we've seen Last Stand pretty much guarantee top 4s. The lowest I think I've seen is that 4th, and it was Biri back yesterday or even Friday. So those Last Stand players are also going to want to avoid each other once those trigger, because last thing you want to do is face the other one and get eliminated.
I'm wondering, Replay and Prestivan, right? Both of them went blinged out on 2-1, and I just saw Prestivan pick up a Senna too. And I'm curious if both of them are committing to Senna and actually contesting each other, because as you pointed out earlier, like, not a lot of people are actually contesting each other on this set, on this patch at all. We haven't really seen any on stream outside of like 80 Flex. We mean more the re-rollers, right? And this is actually a spot where blinged out, that kind of puts you in a position where you kind of need to play Senna.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Prestivan, I even saw, I think it popped up twice, that he's 2 Senna 2s. So he's sitting on 6 Sennas. We're now actually seeing Replay on the other side. He has, it looks like, the Senna headliner, then 2 Sennas on bench. So he has 5, and Prestivan has at least 6, if what those pop-ups on the side were could be believed. So both these players pretty heavily contesting each other. And it feels like, it's tough. You can sometimes be in that spot where you both heavily contest each other, and you kind of just end up holding hands in 7th, 8th, where, you deny each other from hitting. And it can be rough.
Again. He hit the Thieves Gloves again. I mean, this guy has got some protagonist energy coming into this to try and get a spot at the championship here.
Maybe now's the time for Weird to go to Vegas. Right. Now is going to be a great time for that, because sometimes it just feels like the world is just pushing you through, right, and just carrying you through weird. Also playing really, really well. Pressed Event now, this is a board that we're seeing. Yeah, we are competing with Linked Out with another board, like you said, and we're going to be looking at this Zed. The Senna in the middle should do pretty well against that initial group, but it's all about how much damage it's able to do at the beginning of the round before the Zed gets there. The Zed gets there with a lot of time to spare, and that's going to be a pretty rough loss for Replay.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that both Precedent and Replay are kind of playing different styles here. So a lot of times, when you get heavily contested, players will actually level and then roll because they just want to go for a stronger board if they feel that they can't actually do it. The other school of thought is you stay low level, you roll earlier, you just try to hit instantly. Replay stayed 6, Precedent went 7. So Precedent went 7 and actually has more copies of the Senna. So Replay kind of losing out in that regard because he still needs 4 more copies and he's still level 6, whereas Precedent should theoretically have more power on his board just by the kind of nature of going higher level.
Yeah, if Replay doesn't hit, like right now, he's about to start hemorrhaging so hard in the end of stage 4 towards stage 5. Being at 6 at this point, everyone else is kind of hitting their stride or they're hitting high levels, and you're not going to keep up with just the Senna. And I know Replay was probably down this game to take a risk. He needs a very high placement. He needs some help to actually qualify into the World Championship. But this is definitely a tough spot. And we see it, he's now gone to 7. So he's not committing towards just forcing for the Senna, and he's just trying to get a bit stronger. Yeah,
I mean, he's kind of realizing how bad the spot is now. But gonna go 7. Doesn't really have anything to put in. Doesn't even have an Echo 2. There was the 6th Senna in shop, but this is pretty brutal. His board is really bad. I also think his positioning is kind of weird, low-key. Like, he lost that round against the Zed where the Nico was so far on the left side of the board that it didn't actually defend his Senna at all, who's kind of sat in the middle. Now he moved the Nico over a little bit more to the right. We can see Kyun, he's level 8. He is playing kind of a Seraphine reroll, but I guess just decided he couldn't actually hit. So he's just pushing levels and looking like he'll probably try to transition into more of like a KDA Ari or something like that type of board, which we just really haven't been seeing at all this set. In this tournament, it feels like it's been almost exclusively Seraphine reroll into Ari carry as that secondary unit. Really, I can't think of a single game that it was like the primary carry.
All right, Replay. We unfortunately. What were you saying?
Rain just hit Ribbon 3. It just popped up on the side there. I mean, that's big pickup. I mean, Rain is very much pretty much out of it at this point. Really small niche scenarios that Rain can even sneak in, but Ribbon 3, that can play spoiler for a lot of people playing for that first place.
Precedent also just got 3-star Senna there, so that's actually really big. So Replay, I feel like he's in kind of a horrible spot because some of these people below him in HP just hit. Rain just got 3-star Riven. Weird, we know, is playing, Heartsteel Cash Out. Precedent just hit the 3-star Senna. So if these players start to stabilize, like Replay is going to lose this, and he looks like he's going to lose this kind of bad potentially. We'll see how exactly it does go, but that's going to be another loss for Replay. I think everyone below him, besides maybe Degree in HP, is actually stronger than him.
Yeah, and Degree has Last Stand.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the fact of the matter when it comes to TFT, right? Sometimes the HP totals are a little bit of a mirage because the bottom side will get stronger. They're going to be investing and they're going to have those stronger comps. So Zale, I'm right there with you. Even though the bottom 2 have those losses, it's still super close from 4th to 8th right now. And with the stakes what they are, I'm sure a lot of those players are trying their best to get out of there.
I mean, I think there's a super high chance that Replay goes 8th. Like, super high chance.
I can see it.
Just actually looking at the boards, like you said, we have Heartsteel Cash Out for Weird. We have Degree playing Last Stand, and Precedent hit his 3-star Senna. Like, he just has a way better board, right? So I'm kind of trying to think, like, who can Replay actually beat? Like, is there a single board that he wins against?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because like
I don't think there is.
His board a bit. He's gonna look for a new headliner. I think he's trying to play around this Lulu.
50 gold, right? Like, he's either gonna go Lulu, or he's gonna go. He can even just hit like a KDA Ari or anything like that. Like, anything like that makes his board strong enough, I think. And he's a lot of gold to roll. I mean, I guess we'll have to see. He's maybe the one question, but Malala's full streaking. Rain has Ribbon 3. Dish Soap's pretty strong. It's
KDA Kali. Really good. Play 7 KDA, play vertical.
Good enough.
And the thing with Kyun as well, Kyun is kind of looking at everyone else here. The main person he's looking at is going to be Weird, because Kyun needs to outplace Weird in order to actually get into that top 3, right? Kyun's AVP is not as good. He needs to get 3 places above Weird in order to find his spot. And Weird being that Heartsteel cash out, right? Q needs to get strong, try and hit him really hard as fast as possible.
It feels like if you need to get 3 places above Weird, then you need to go 9. Like a level 8 KDA board, I don't think is going to outplace by that much almost. You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting. I guess you have to keep watching Weird and think, okay, is Weird actually going to die? Because Weird is Heartsteel cash out plus Last Stand, I do believe. He's one of the second Last Stand players. So that's going to be hard to have him going out super early. That is a pretty big loss for Precedent, though. That really hurts him as he is very low down at 10 HP.
And Weird lost again, though.
And Replay did win. So that's actually pretty huge for him as well. Because if Precedent dies and Replay is still alive, potentially you can roll down and maybe you then hit that Senna and start some sort of a comeback here to where you can still get in off AVP.
Malala also hasn't lost since putting that Kale together, so definitely excited about that. But yeah, we're about to see some victims here when it comes to this lobby. A couple of our friends are on elimination station, so Degree and Prestivant and Weird could all be eliminated from here. Is Weird going to be the one that gets taken down? Our backline's all just tier 1 right now. It's going to be all up to that Zed and that Yone to try to do as much damage as possible, along with this Lucian who actually gets tagged by the Akali. Is this going to be it for Weird so far? It's looking like it's going to be pretty competitive right now. It's going to be all up to that Akali, and if it's going to be able to take down that Zed, it's Akali versus Zed, and it's not going to be enough. Weird should have this, but you know, crazier things have happened here, especially since the Zed's going to have to chase that Akali around. Will the ults work out for this Akali? Too much with the Bloodthirster and the Hodge. Great fight, but the Zed is going to take it.
Yeah, but Kiyun did push to 9, as Azale was saying. Like, you need to push to 9 with this KDA board, so Kiyun actually has a ways to go to get stronger. The problem is if he could have taken a win over Weird there, it would have been so huge to reduce him to potentially 1 life.
Look at this, though. So Degree procced his Last Stand now. Replay did lose again, where Precedent won. So Replay is at 8 health. Remember, Weird has Last Stand that hasn't procced. Degree just procced his Last Stand and has a pretty upgraded board. I think Replay is definitely the player most in danger of being eliminated. Precedent also could lose on this round. Replay desperately needs to stay alive, but he's got nothing that he's close to hitting, and this could be the end for him after an incredible start to this weekend. Let's see if he can get it done.
It's all up to this Caitlyn, is all up to that Senna, and hopefully that Ezreal doesn't have a good ult and knocks us out immediately. Poppy's already going onto the back line, but with the Ezreal, it's not that great, so we have a little bit of an injection of life, but it is not going to be enough. We do have an elimination here in the final lobby, and it's going to be Replay and Prestivant going out in the bottom 2.
Yeah, Prestivant, it looks like taken down as well, so it is just going to be Degree left at 1, but he's got a very scary Last Stand board, and there's placements are being eaten up. Weird still has Last Stand. Kiyun is running out of room to run away from Weird here, as Malala and Dish Soap are getting into those spots where they're locking themselves in. Malala needed 6+. He should now finally for sure be locked into the championship. So sorry about the early call, but now he's there. Now he's got it. We called it right. We just knew, right? And now he's pushing for that first place. Dish Soap needs to top 4 this game to lock his.
And Replay's got to be out on AVP with that 8th place. You know, that is just a brutal capper to the day for him. He went 6th, 7th, 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 3rd, 8th for Replay after having a 1.8 or so average placement on day 1 was just insane. Degree, you know, trying to get some work done here. It does have quite a strong board. Double Banshee's Veil on the support item, so has pretty nasty Last Stand board. We'll see what he can get done.
Yeah, this board has a lot of opportunity. It's not going to get taken down by that first initial CC. That's, of course, going to be great for Zed and Ezreal and the backline in case they get clipped by something. But double IE on the Ezreal, too. So this ult is going to be pretty big, along with the Zig Shred, too. This is a very, very good combo.
Here goes Weird's Last Stand
as well, and Weird's Last Stand will now trigger, as that's a brutal loss. That's totally okay, because Last Stand's the whole point, as we do get another elimination as well.
But here's the thing is that, you know, for Weird, you know, he does proc that Last Stand. You know, he's not actually defeated because I think that's showing him as dead, but he's still alive. He has that Last Stand. But he's level 8. He didn't actually get to go to 9, right? So he has like a lower cap. So if Q needs 3 placements higher than Weird, it is still possible, you know, depending on who Weird runs into. If he runs into one of those super strong players, like look at how unupgraded his board is. You know, he has so many 1-stars there. 1-star Lucian, 1-star Ezreal, 1-star Yorick, 1-star Alawi, 1-star Aphelios. Like this has a lot of items, but not great upgrades whatsoever. So if he runs in one of the heavy hitters, he could definitely lose, and Kyun may still have that chance to get that big outplace that he needs.
Yeah, let's see who the fight is. It is Kyun. Kyun could potentially just eliminate his biggest competition right now.
Sona
Sona 2 with all those items. That is
we haven't seen
board.
We haven't seen this in so long. Every Sona that we've seen has been pretty much fake, and it's just been there for synergies, but now we're actually going to see it work. Here's that ult, and the damage is going to be going down. Where did it go, actually? But we're going to get another ult going, too, but that's not going to be enough. Not even close.
I guess that's why we're not seeing Sona.
Yeah.
Sona looks like
resist an army map. She's just not, she can't get there over this last stand board.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, it's all just kind of AoE damage that they're all healing up. You know, to your point, yeah, Last Stand really kind of is the perfect counter to Sona because it's just damage spread across the whole board, right? Also doesn't have a Rage Blade, which makes it tougher. But, you know, Kyun now hitting an RE2, you can see on that side there. And again, you know, if Weird runs into Degree or something like that, he could still die there. Malala potentially could take him down. Malala, with that duplicator on bench, is only one off the Mord 3, which generally is kind of seen as one of those big win conditions, the ways that you can actually push this comp from a good top 4 comp into a first place. So we'll see if he can find it. He's still 8, so he has good odds to roll, get some gold there. And with that duplicator, he's going to roll down. We'll see if he can find that Mord.
All right, looking through this too, Dish Up almost guaranteed to top.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, based on this, and they got the board. We also get the Ziggs on the Dish Soap's board too, and this one has been brutalizing the lobby so far. Look at how low everyone else is. 1913, 6, 1 and 1 with our Last Stand. Mordekaiser 3 as well. So Malala also competing here. So now the Last Stand board seemingly a little bit more vulnerable overall, Azale.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see how those matchups do go. Who is Malala going to be going up against? It is Kyun. Kyun on his last life here, potentially. Let's see if the Sona can get it done. I don't know if he can either. He does have the Akali that is fully itemized. If the Akali can get in the backline and kill off that Kale, maybe he can make it happen. But right now, it's just stuck on the Mordekaiser. The Sona cast did absolutely nothing. The Ahri is trying to work through. It does have the GS and is on the Mordekaiser. The Mordekaiser needs the cast, and it's going to be able to do so. It's incredibly low, and it's down, and now it's all up to the Kale as the Akali's into the backline, trying to take him down. But the Kale is healing through everything. The Sona's about to cast again. The Sona cast doesn't do enough. I think the Akali's gonna go down.
Oh, and Kyun's alive! Kyun lives!
Kyun lives and Weird is out.
What a wild battle that was, and now 3 players on elimination station as well. Last Stand is fallen. Degree, the only one remaining, and then our top 4, Kyun, Rain, Malala, and Dish Soap. Dish Soap losing that last round as well. So no matter what, someone is getting eliminated in this next round based on how those matchups go. But who will it be? Will it be Degree? Will it be Kyun? Or will it be Rain? Depending on how this goes, Degree definitely has the best chance here. Cass, what do you think?
Kyun going up against Dish Soap. This is a really scary board. He upgraded the Ziggs, but not many items yet. It's an 80 flex, but Zed won. He does have the Ezreal looking for the big cast, but we still have the Sona and Akali. Really big damage coming from both of them. And the Akali is now over to the Ezreal, but Zed won, made it onto the Sona, and he takes her out. Zed won the MVP of the fight, and now it is just up to Akali, and she can't do it by herself. The Poppy, the Ezreal, it's too much. Kyun gonna go down, but has Degree survived as well. Kyun out in 5th, and we have our top 4. Dish Soap should be locking in his ticket to the championship for the first time, being in the top 3 for so long, being such a pillar of North American TFT, and finally he'll have a chance to show it at the championship.
He has an opportunity to make Worlds be the #1 time that he wins an event. What a crazy thing to say. And Dish Soap, finally, the monkey's gone. The monkey is off the back. We are going to see Dish Soap at Worlds, and it's okay to celebrate because Dish Soap deserves it, my friends. Now let's see how the rest of the lobby is going to go. Will Rain be able to survive against Degree? Degree's the one on Last Stand. It's that Caitlyn, and there's going to be a big opening on that backline for that Caitlyn, but the Lucian has been feeding her bullets, but it's still not over on that side either. There's contact in the back line, and there's contact with death for Rain.
Here, if he eliminates Malala, he can win. He's only 2 points behind at the start. If he gets rid of Malala now, who's on 1 life, Dish Soap might not need his first to the championship because he can actually take regionals right from Malala's grasp as Malala falls in 4th place. Dish Soap trying to steal it away for his very first win.
This is insane, man, but he still has to get past Degree, who has that Last Stand board. and it's going to be incredibly difficult to take down. We'll see if Dish Soap can manage it, and he's 2 points behind. So actually, with Malala going out in fourth, you know, he could actually tie him even with a second,
yeah,
right?
Second
so it
would be a tie.
Second would be a tie. I'm not going to speculate on how that all works, but if he gets a first, he would actually win the entire event. But he's got to get past Degree first. Degree is level 10. Look at that board. I don't think that Dish Soap could actually win from here. The doubles Banshee's Veil. He's got an itemized Ziggs 2. He's got a Yorick 2. This board from Degree is insane. Dish Soap going to be frantically trying to position as best as he possibly can.
It could come down to Breakers, Boop. It could come down to Breakers, the best player of set 10 versus one of the best players in North America. And Dish Soap could just win one fight against Degree.
Yeah, but Dish Soap does have a couple extra lives if the bad news comes through, but it's all about Dish Soap. We are looking at potentially the first ever victory for Dish Soap in a tournament. Degree, though, keeping us on our toes. Dish Soap gonna fall. Is this gonna go to tiebreakers like you say, Cass? It's looking like it so far, but is Dish Soap gonna be able to increase this comp?
I don't think that there's really anything you can do. Like, I just think you're outclassed by the combat augments that are kind of over on the other side. Combat Caster plus Last Stand is just so strong. Plus he's gotten more from Heartsteel, like the double cash out with these support items. The Banshee's Veil is really strong. Tons of extra attack speed comes through. He does swap over to this Jhin. I don't even know if the Jin's going to do it. I feel like you should sell your Lucian, put your other Lucian, and put the Hurricane over on the Jhin if you're going to be committing to that with your items. But Dish Soap is going to keep the Hurricane on the Lucian. We'll see if the Jhin can get it done. He's got to buy a ton of time in the front line to get those violins stacked up.
All right, the Ziggs already getting through at that ult. That's going to be tier 2, is going to be ulting a lot, but Dish Soap needs a lot of help from this Jhin. There's already contact in the back line from the Zed. It's not looking good, folks, but Dish Soap should have one more life and one more opportunity to find the item that might be the difference maker, but it does seem like those combat augments might be too much to overcome.
This Last Stand board, Degree was also able to push to 10, so now he even has that over Dish Soap, right? This is going to be, what, a Lucian 2 for Dish Soap? I don't think it overcomes an extra unit, all these upgraded legendaries, and the Last Stand bonus on everything. Degree is going to send us to breakers between Dish Soap and Malala for that first place. And then from there, Degree needed the first, and he needs some other conditions to make it. I think because of Kiyun's performance here, it's going to be hard for Degree to have found that AVP. But we're going to have a very rocky ride when it comes to figuring out who made it at the end of all of this. Honestly, Necra and Gangly have a treat to spoil exactly how it all goes down.
Yep, exactly. We're going to leave it to them to make sure it is completely correct information that is being given over here. More items being chosen here on the side of Degree. Gets that third item, gets the Rage Blade in there onto a Lucian, as well as Rage Blade onto that Ziggs too. This board looking absolutely unbeatable. Dish Soap trying to figure out what he can get done, if anything, but I think this is the final round here. Dish Soap likely going down.
The final round in the North American season of TFT is right now. Who's it gonna be? We got Dish Soap and Degree. Dish Soap is looking a little weak right now. The Zed's already in the back line, and we're gonna see what the tiebreakers say as Dish Soap is going to fall. Degree will win the last lobby of the North America season. There's a lot of math to be done, folks. There's a lot of